Intro to the course.
Hello everyone and welcome to week 1. In this video we're going to be talking about the focus for this week's work, as well as identifying some key questions to consider as we move forward. It is important to note that this video is intended to provide you with a context for the key elements of your work and not serve as the only resource that you use. What that means is this is not the only video that you should watch. I also want to point out that one of the primary goals of instruction of this course is to be responsive and adaptable, hence the chameleon. This will require flexibility on the part of the facilitators as well as students. In essence, things are going to change, and changes are only made to support learning, and they will be communicated in advance. But we must all be flexible as we engage in this process. As we are beginning the course, there are 4 key questions that I'd like to address. These questions will serve as the basis of the discussion in this video. These questions are: what are you going to be learning in this course? What is the process by which you're going to be learning it? How will you be assessed by the course? And what are your learning goals for this class? i.e., what knowledge do you hope to develop? The focus of this course is to look at the relationship between graphic design, digital technology, and learning. What this means will become evident as we move through the course. In this process, you'll be guided by the following learning outcomes. Now, I'm not going to read each of these to you, as you can find them in the course outline, but I do want to highlight a couple of points about them as we move forward. The first point here that I'd like to make is that this course isn't about making PowerPoints look pretty. It's about developing an understanding of visual design principles and learning how to use these principles in conjunction with digital technologies to support learning. You don't need to be an artist to do well in this course. You need to be willing to be creatively explore mediums such as illustration, photography, videography, typography, and animation. The second point that I'd like to make in relationship to learning outcomes is that you don't need to know a specific software to do well in this course. For example, many people might feel that they'll learn Photoshop or Illustrator or some other creative program that they want to learn how to use. However, these things are not going to be taught in this course. There are many other great courses that you can learn things about specific programs or softwares. And don't get me wrong, you may use Photoshop or Illustrator in this class, but you're not required to. Instead, you're encouraged to find tools that you're comfortable with and that are meaningful for you. These might be tools that are outside of the context of what we're going to cover, and you may end up having to teach yourself a few things. Such is the nature of design work. The process by which you will be learning will be largely influenced by what you want to learn and how you want to learn it. As you can see, the learning outcomes are focused on the application of design principles to the creation of visual artifacts. In essence, you're going to be creating illustrations, photographs, animations, etc., and your learning will be in the doing of creating these things. You're going to be supported by a learning community which includes yourself, the facilitators, and each week there will be videos that you'll be asked to watch, like this one, and this will provide the context for the week and a framework for the things that you should be thinking about. You'll also be asked to participate in synchronous tutorials, which are intended to provide support for you wherever you need it in the learning that you are doing. You'll also be asked to engage in synchronous discussions through the Edmodo community, as well as through some other channels of communication that we have set up, such as the class Twitter feed and blog, which will be continuously updated with stories and resources that relate to graphic design, digital technology, and learning. It's important to note here that the assessment pieces are the primary opportunities to learn, and the videos, online discussions, are intended to support you in your work on your assignments. Which brings us to the next question. How will you be assessed in this course? Details about the course assignments can be found in the course assessments video, as well as in the course outline. As you will see there are 4 primary points of assessment in the course. However, what I want to point out though is that in this class our focus will be on feedback, not necessarily on evaluation. We're going to use the process of critique to provide learners with an understanding of what they are learning in their journey. Critique will involve self-assessment, it will involve peer assessment, and it will involve facilitator assessment. And it's an ongoing process. The goal here is for you to continuously engage in the evaluation of your own work so that you control your own learning journey. The next question is, how can you develop your learning goals for the course? given that we've been talking about you establishing what you want to learn and how you want to learn it, we should think about this a little bit. Although it's important for you to become familiar with learning objectives in the class, it's also important for you to identify what you want to learn. For example, perhaps you're entering the course looking for an opportunity to learn a new application such as Photoshop or Pixelmator. These are two programs that can be used for the purpose of photo manipulation or illustration. Or perhaps you just want to develop a better workflow for creating learning objects that you can use in instructional materials. What I'd like to point out here is that regardless of what your goals are, they should be attainable, documented, and iterative. Keep in mind that this is important for you to document what you are learning, as it will help you to gain a better sense of where you are in the course. You are also encouraged to look at the work of your peers and collect feedback from them so that you can get a better understanding of the work that others are doing in the class. Ultimately, the learning that you experience in this course is guided by you. As we move forward, I'd like to provide some of the following points for you to consider. These should be understood as platforms for you to use to figure out where you should go next and areas that you need to explore. The first one is, how are you going to document your learning and share it throughout the class? Documentation is an important aspect of this course because you're going to be asked to demonstrate that you have indeed learned something over the next 12 weeks. The portfolio assignment has been designed to help you with this process, but you are encouraged to also identify other ways to document what you are doing in a way that is comfortable for you. Some subcomponents of this might be how you're going to manage your workflow, your files, are you going to use social networking as a mechanism for sharing your work, and so on. A second question is, what are the qualities that you think you're going to bring to your design team? As you will tell or be able to see in the course assessments, you have a group project that you'll be working on in this class. In this project, you'll be working on a team, and you need to give consideration to what qualities you can bring to the team. Before engaging this process, you might want to take a few minutes to think about what knowledge or skills you have that can be beneficial to others. Are you a really organized person, good at solving problems? Do you know a particular application that could be useful to others? Do you have experiences that relate to design, technology, teaching, anything that could be useful? This leads to the third question, which is, what are the qualities that you are looking for in others in your design team? While it is important to know what you can bring to a team, it is also important to know what you want to get out of a team as well. It's a reciprocal relationship, so you should think carefully about the kinds of people that you want to work with. Don't take this step lightly. You should give careful consideration to the group because you'll be working with them over the entirety of the course. If you already know how to use an animation program, do you want to work with others who have that same skill? Or do you want to work with people who perhaps know a different program and you can learn from them? Do you want to work with people who work well under pressure? Or do you need to work with a team that is more structured and plans things in advance? It's not to say that one approach would be better than the other, just more comfortable for you. The fourth question to give consideration as you move forward is, what does your schedule look like for the term? This is your opportunity to lay things out and figure out when you're going to be busy. It's very important to take some time this week to review your schedule and identify when you will be able to do the work for the course. This includes looking at assignment due dates, exams, work commitments, personal commitments, etc. Having an understanding of when each of these things are going to happen will help you in understanding how they will impact your ability to do work in the class.